Hey Mama, welcome back to the podcast. This is Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5, and I am here to encourage you during your pregnancy. This is week 9 as we are going through a pregnancy week by week, talking about some of the physical changes that baby is going through, some of the physical changes you're going through, and some of the mental challenges that you might have as these changes happen to your body. It is pretty amazing pregnancy, and it's also very hard. So that is why we are here. We are here to get through the hard season together, to find more positivity, and to find the things that work to help you to enjoy this pregnancy better. Thank you for being here. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life, and I can help you. Thanks for joining. All right, Mama, you are 9 weeks along. This is amazing. You're almost a quarter of the way there. And there doesn't feel like your body is changing that much other than the way you feel like sick-wise. You don't feel like you've got a baby bump. You just feel probably very sick, very nauseated, and wondering how long this nausea is going to last. Right now, your baby is about the size of a grape. They have a mouth and a tongue, and an interesting fact that I learned this week as I was kind of preparing for this episode and making my own notes and learning was that they actually at this point can pee, and they pee in the womb. And don't worry, this is not bad or gross. This is normal, and their pee is sterile, and it actually helps to have like more of that amniotic fluid around them during pregnancy, or at least I believe that's the term she used. I got that information from Bridget Tyler. I will link her videos in the show notes. It's just pretty fascinating, and the more I learn about pregnancy, the more I think it is amazing. You probably are not thinking it is so amazing right now, though, because you are sick, you aren't feeling like yourself, you feel nauseated, you're feeling exhausted, you're feeling like you might have to run to the bathroom more than normal, and even maybe you are starting to wake up in the night to have to pee. These are things that just kind of come with pregnancy, and they can be really hard to deal with if you don't work with your mind mentally in helping it to be strong during this difficult season. This is around the time that you likely can hear the heartbeat on a Doppler, which is pretty cool as well. It happens so soon. The baby is developing a lot. They've got the gallbladder, liver, spleen are starting to take shape. The heart has developed 4 chambers, and it's just pretty amazing. Nowadays, they have a blood test, and this is around the time that you would probably take a blood test if you were trying to determine the gender of your baby via a blood test. I actually never did a blood test. In fact, one of my babies, we waited the whole pregnancy to find out what it was, and it ended up being a little girl. That's kind of fun to wait the whole time, but all the rest of mine, I just did the gender reveal at the ultrasound, or one time I did let my sister-in-law find out before us, and she did a gender reveal party. So there are lots of things that can happen there, but it's just crazy. You can find out this early what the gender is of your baby. So those are some of the physical changes that are happening, some of the things to be aware of, things that could happen at an appointment. And now I want to jump into mindset. There are a ton of resources out there that talk about pregnancy and kind of the progression of pregnancy, how your body changes, what the baby changes. And in this episode, well, in my podcast, though, I do focus on some of those things, but the majority of the area I like to focus on is the mental. I know I mentioned it in the last episode, but the mental can be neglected. And if we don't talk about mental, if we don't talk about what's going on inside our mind as these changes happen in our body, it can wreak havoc on our lives, on our mentality, on our marriage, on our children. It can be very, very difficult. So I have found it to be difficult, and I wanted it to be better. I always felt called to be a mother. I wanted to be a mom. And then after my first pregnancy, it was terrifying. And so my second pregnancy was also terrifying. And by my third, I knew something had to change or I was not going to have more kids. And I always wanted a larger family. I just had always wanted that. Lots of kids, a happy home, but pregnancy about stopped me in my tracks because it was so hard. It affected me mentally, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, all the alleys. I was affected. And it wasn't good. It was very, very difficult. And you might be in that same boat too, where it's just affecting you way harder than you thought it would. It's more difficult than you thought it would be. And that's where I want you to do what I'm going to talk about today. The main thing I want to talk about today is giving yourself grace and what that can look like. I think we as women in modern times kind of feel like we're productive and we're useful and making a difference if we can mark off our to-do list or if we can do all the things. All the things being like participating in church and school, in helping our husband in our own business, and showing up online or not showing up online, and reading books and learning all the things and doing all the things. I feel like sometimes there is great pressure to do a lot of things, and we can fill our lives with a lot of things that make us busy. Now, I'm not saying that those things are bad. Things are good, and being busy is good. The idle mind can be the devil's workshop. You've probably heard that saying before. Today, though, I want you, if I can talk, to give yourself grace over not doing all of the things. Unfortunately, pregnancy is a season of survival, especially the first trimester, especially if you are choosing to try very hard not to medicate. You can feel very, very sick. And you're going to need to learn to give yourself grace, that you can't do it all during this season. It is not possible. It is too hard. And the more you mentally beat yourself up about not doing the things, the worse you're going to feel and the harder this pregnancy is going to go, and the more of a negative light that you are going to have on pregnancy. If you want more pregnancies, if you do desire more children in the future, which I encourage you not to think about at this point, but if you do, working on this mental shifting right now is going to be huge. You can't do it all, and that's okay. I want you to repeat that with me like 3 times. I can't do it all, and it's okay. I can't do it all, and that's okay. I can't do it all right now, and it's okay. It is okay that you cannot get to it all. I felt so heavy that I fell behind in all the areas. I wasn't making dinner for my family. I wasn't reading. I wasn't journaling. I wasn't working on my podcast. I wasn't doing a business. I was barely surviving. I was on the couch. I would try to eat when I could. I would do my best to feed my kids when I could, but I also just knew that this season is hard. Sometimes they have to have some go-to things they can do for themselves, or I just had to let a lot go, and that was really hard. Giving yourself grace is mostly just being okay that this season looks different, and that it's okay to let it go. It's okay to only do the absolute necessities to get by. This is a season. And even though it seems like it's going to be a long and eternal season, it is only temporary. And it is so worth it, Mama. the changes going on inside your body, the baby that you are growing. There is going to be a reward at the end of this awful sickness. At the end of this awful morning sickness, you are going to get to hold a sweet little baby in your arms. It's like bringing tears to my eyes just talking about it, because I brought 5 babies into this world. And each time each one of them was born, it was so special. And it's like, yeah, this was all worth it. Those 9 weeks of hell, or 6 weeks, or however long you are sick for, it was worth it. It was worth it. Mama, it will be worth it. So, next time you have something that you can't do, maybe it's even something you had said you were going to do. You had committed to someone that you were going to do something, but you just know it's not going to happen. Give yourself grace and tell yourself it's okay. Do your best to make the necessary arrangements to make that thing happen, or to have someone else make that thing happen is what I was trying to say. But give yourself grace that you can't get to it all. You got this, Mama. This is hard, but give yourself grace is the second thing I encourage after feel it to heal it. As you can give yourself grace and be okay with not doing things, it makes positivity a lot easier to get to. If you're stuck in negativity because you feel like you can't do anything, it's going to be hard to implement the gratitude, or the pregnancy affirmations, or the changing the negative to the positive. But if you can do these 2 things, there comes more power in the other things that we will dive into more, and that I have dived into so much on my podcast. I have a bunch of those episodes linked in the show notes if you want to check out more of them and how I focus on each of those different areas. But for this episode, I just want you to give yourself grace. As you go throughout your pregnancy this week, give yourself grace. You find something you can't do, tell yourself it's okay. This is temporary and it is all worth it. Tell yourself it's okay, you can't do that. It will be okay. You are amazing, Mama. Your body is so amazing, and this pregnancy is beautiful. Keep it up. You're going to get a sweet little bundle of joy at the end, and it is worth it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing, but most of all, thank you for implementing what you learn in this episode and all the other episodes for more positivity in your own pregnancy. If you feel to give me some feedback, all my contact information, social media groups, website, they are all in the show notes. And if you are really struggling, thinking that this is hard, I really don't know how to do this, I would like some daily help. I have a mindset mini course. It's called the Morning Sickness Mini Course for Mental Health. And there are 42 videos that are meant for you to watch or listen to each each day during that sick phase, so that you can have daily help to help you get through this hard time. I am cheering for you. You can do this. All that information is in the show notes, and I will see you again at week 10 next week. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be, through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.